Hi everyone, Heather here with astrologywithheather.com, and I am back with another weekly forecast. This one is for Monday, August 10th, all the way through to Sunday, August 16th of 2020. And this week is another crazy week in the astrology. Last week, I mentioned that things were going to be shocking and explosive, and that there was going to be the potential for really rapid change, conflict, all sorts of disruption, and on an interpersonal, individual, and also a collective level. And I feel like we've seen that, right? The past week has been crazy on at least a global scale, and I know a lot of people have been having some disruption to their personal experience as well. Well, last week was sort of the beginning. It wasn't just a one-time event. It wasn't just a one-time situation. And the energy of last week is carrying into this week, except it's probably honestly stronger this week. I mean, we don't have a full moon highlighting Uranus stationing, but Uranus is actually stationing this week. And that's a point in time where there's always, for a lot of people, especially if you have a lot of energy in the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, if you have a lot of planets in those signs, you might be undergoing a period of really abrupt change, or you might have some really incredible surprises that come your way that maybe they disrupt your current paradigm and your current plans, but they're ultimately beneficial and they ultimately liberate you from something. That's a big energy this week. The other thing we have going on here is the continuation of the Mars square to the planets in Capricorn. And so last week we saw Mars square Jupiter on Tuesday. That was a big energy, very, very powerful. And a lot of people were feeling that on a visceral level. It's almost like too much energy. Combined with that Uranus energy too, that can be like a lot of anxiety or nervousness or feeling unsettled. A lot of people leading up to that were messaging me left and right and leaving comments on my videos and on my posts on Instagram and things like that, saying that they felt like something big was about to happen. And yes, something big obviously did happen in Lebanon. So people were picking up on that. But a lot of times, a lot of these situations that people were picking up on were sometimes like situations in their own personal lives. They felt like something was about to change, something big was about to happen. And I've had people since then messaging me a lot of things that are positive that were happening rather abruptly or unexpectedly as a result of this Uranus energy or the Mars energy. So it's not just that it's going to cause some sort of turbulence that's like dramatic and bad or negative, especially on a personal level. There can also be really positive changes. And this energy with Mars square to Pluto, which is a continuation of the energy I talked about in my 6-month forecast for Mars and Aries. So this is something that is not just happening one time. This is something that's going to be sticking with us for months. This Mars square Pluto energy, Mars square Jupiter, Mars square Saturn. It's squaring all of it right now. When you have one planet squaring a stellium of planets, which is technically 4 or more planets, but 3 planets is the exact same energy, especially when they're that close. It's very hard to untangle the individual influences of each planet. They're mushed together. It's like one big thing. And so when you have Mars squaring any of those planets exact, or even coming close to squaring any of those planets exact, you're going to feel it in all the ways. And so that's what we've been dealing with. I talked a lot about the energy and how this is going to be playing out last week. I'm going to continue talking about it this week, but instead of just saying the same things over and over again every single week for the next 6 months, I'm going to give you a different layer of interpretation each time that these things come around, because they will keep coming around. And so this week, what I'm going to really focus on when we get into the weekly forecast for all 12 signs is the ways that we can utilize this energy of Mars square Pluto and Mars square all of the Capricorn planets, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn, in a way that's constructive and useful to us, so we can harness that energy in the best possible way rather than using it in a way that's destructive, because we can really be self-destructive during this time period with this Mars square to the stellium in Capricorn. We can really use this energy in a way that's very volatile, very reactionary. And this is a week, especially with Pluto being the planet that's highlighted more so than the others, where we can take things to extremes, or we can have very extreme reactions to what it is that comes up in our experience. And that's something that we need to be very aware of and very careful with. So this is a week where you need to make sure that you're taking time to respond to the things that come up that demand your attention, as opposed to just reacting from a place of past experience, past trauma, from a place of instinct, from this visceral emotional level. We need to give ourselves some space and some time. When something comes up, over the next 6 months, but especially right now in this moment, in the next couple of weeks, when something comes up and you feel like that you need to make this knee-jerk response to it, yes, a lot of times things will require, with this energy, with Mars, an immediate sort of action to be taken in order to remedy or to deal with the situation. That's just part of Mars. Mars is very immediate, it's very quick, it's very abrupt. But with Saturn there, you're going to have to think it through, and that immediate reaction is going to take you down a path that's going to be long-term. It's not going to be something that you just do once and it's done. You're going to have to go back and forth. You're going to have to play the game. You're going to have to follow the right avenues. You're going to have to take small steps and small actions every single day to really get to that finish line. And so it's not just like we just immediately react and everything is taken care of. Even if you're taking your time and you're thinking things through before you take action, those actions are going to have long withstanding consequences, and they're not going to produce immediate results. It's just not a thing. We're going to want immediate results, and I've been telling you guys this for a while. We're going to want immediate results, but we're not going to get immediate results. It's just not a thing right now. So, and that's not true for every single area of our lives. The Uranus energy might bring immediate change and immediate results in a certain area or in a certain context, which we'll talk about, of course. But, in the context of the cardinal signs and what we're going to be talking about there, it's going to take some time, and there will be frustration and there will be challenge. But this is a time to really stand up and to be courageous and to take responsibility for yourself and to take responsibility for what it is that you're creating in your life right now. The foundations that you're setting for your future. It's going to be a little messy. It's going to be a little challenging, especially with everything that's going on in the world, but it's possible, right? It's possible. So, that's what we're going to be talking about this week. We're going to talk about how to use this energy as constructively as possible for each of the signs. And before we even get into that, I just want to talk a little bit about Mars squaring personal planets. And by personal planets, I mean the inner planets, which include in astrology the sun and moon. Those are planets and luminaries. So sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, and a little bit about the ascendant before we get into the all 12 sign forecast. And for those of you who aren't already doing so, definitely head over to my Instagram page and follow me there. At Astrology with Heather is my handle. I've been giving a lot more information and just providing more updates about what's going on in the astrology and in the energy. And I'm going to continue to do that over the next few months just because there's a lot going on. So I'm paying extra attention to, everyone who's following and everyone who's looking for information. And I'm even doing some additional videos and things like that. I just finished recording a video with the evolutionary astrologer, Brian Coulter, and we're talking about the energy that's going on right now from an evolutionary standpoint. And so that's going to be up next Tuesday. I'll be meeting back up with the one and only Robert Phoenix probably sometime next week. So that'll be posted soon. We just connected last night, and I'm really excited for that. And I'm creating more resources around these things. And I have been. There's a lot of, I have 3 different donation-based webinars that are available through my website, astrologywithheather.com, that go through different facets of the energy of this year, which is some of the most challenging energy that we'll experience in our entire lifetime, and how to navigate it and what this is going to bring for us. So you can find those webinars. Those are all collaborations with wonderful, very talented astrologers. Those are in the description down below or on my website. And so those things are available to you guys. I want you guys to be supported. I want you guys to be able to navigate what's going on and to understand this experience in the best possible way. And so that's what I've been really working on ever since this whole mess started is trying to create more resources to help you guys navigate. But anyway, so let's get into, I want to talk a little bit about Mars and the stellium in Capricorn impacting certain planets, especially, so this is specific to people who have planets in the cardinal signs. So those inner planets, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and even the ascendant in the cardinal signs. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And chances are most of you have at least one of those planets somewhere in one of those 4 cardinal signs. If you have one of those planets or a bunch of those planets in the cardinal signs, you've probably been feeling this energy way more intensely than other people have, and you feel that it's heating up right now. You feel more on edge. You feel more of this visceral energy, like you need to move, you need to do something, you need to get out there, and there's something blocking you from doing it, right? There's something blocking you from fully going all in. And I've been feeling that too, right? I have a lot, mostly cardinal energy in my chart, and so that's an energy that I am very familiar with right now, where it's like a hurry up and wait. It's like, I got to do this thing and I feel really strongly about it, but it's not quite happening in the way that I want it to, or as quickly as I want it to, or I'm coming up against resistance or challenge, or even literal people that are like providing that opposition. And so with all of the cardinal signs, you're going to be feeling that. And so if you have your sun in one of the cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, you're going to be feeling this in a solar way, right? It's going to be impacting you more personally. It's going to have to do with more so with your personal identity and the way that you show up in the world. You could have been feeling very melancholy, very depleted, very depressed, and then at times feeling this really strong, intense motivation and having these really transformative, powerful, empowering experiences that are sort of sprinkled in amongst this long period where it feels like it's just drudging on and you're just constantly trying to accomplish what you want to accomplish and follow your ambitions, and you're not really getting anywhere. This is a time to follow your ambitions. This is a time to manifest what you want to create, but you want to make sure that you understand that this is a long-term thing that you're looking at. This isn't short-term gains. So you want to just take your time. You want to set some really solid intentions that you can focus on, like laser focus on and expand on. But over the next 6 months, you might feel super highly ambitious and super driven towards something. And you might have literal blockages, especially from people in positions of power and authority, that might prevent you from getting there as quickly or going through the channels that you wanted to. So you might have to find new ways or create your own structure around something. So, for the sun, it's going to be... It was an energy that was more melancholy and a little bit more depressive, whereas now it's like almost anxious. It's like, I need to make this happen. Oh my goodness. Just sit tight, make a plan, make a strategy, and have some goals and aspirations that you are working toward over the next 6 months, but do them in small chunks. You're going to be very focused on it, and that's okay. You might even be obsessing over it, but it's not going to happen all at once. You need to take your time. For the moon in the cardinal signs, I just want to mention to you guys that this is going to be a more of an emotional thing. You might be feeling very down and depressed or volatile emotionally, especially now, more volatile. And it's kind of like it's like you're feeling your emotions to the point of extremes, where you're feeling extreme ups, extreme downs. There could be a lot of anger, a lot of sort of visceral emotional responses going on. And this could actually, for the moon, because the moon rules the home and family, this could bring up challenges and the need to work towards something or work on something and transform something in your family situation, in terms of your actual physical home, or in terms of maybe even your relationship to your mother or a nurturing figure in your life, like a grandmother, an aunt, or something like that. And there could be some sort of challenge or some sort of thing that comes up in that area of home, family, property, or even on an emotional level that comes up for you that that demands an immediate response. It doesn't mean that you jump in all crazy, you plan it out, but just know that this is going to take time, dedication. You're going to have to take responsibility for your end of this bargain, for your end of what you're trying to create here. And it's going to take some time. It might take longer than you might want it to. Same thing for, Mercury. Mercury people, or people who have Mercury in the cardinal signs right now, are going to be feeling this in a way that, so first off, especially if you have your Mercury anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees in the cardinal signs, again, Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, you're going to be feeling this the most. And this is going to be the most volatile energy for you. Your thoughts might be racing. You might be feeling more anxious. You might be feeling really intensely about a certain perception or a certain idea or a lot of ideas. You might have a flood of ideas or a flood of information coming in to the point where you can't quite pin down what's correct and what's not correct. You might be trying to get to the bottom of something in your personal experience. That Saturn energy, though, brings sort of a lack of confidence when it comes to your ideas and your intelligence. And so it's kind of like your brain is on overdrive. You might be feeling very anxious. You might be feeling obsessive over something. And even though you have really strong opinions or really strong ideas and your mind is working on overdrive, you might not feel confident in your ability to express those ideas. And when you do express them, you might be shut down by people and told, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not intelligent enough. You're not good enough. This is not right. And that doesn't mean it's true. This is a reflection of the astrology. And so keep working on it. Keep writing things down. Keep contemplating what you're contemplating. But just know if there's an important point you want to get across or an important idea that you're trying to share, just know that it's going to take time for other people to get on board. And it's going to take time for you to think it through to the point where you're going to feel confident in expressing it and to where other people are going to be receptive to what it is that you're trying to put out there or what it is that you're trying to say. This could be in a lot of different contexts. And of course, with the forecast with all 12 signs, you could even look at your Mercury sign and get some idea of that context. But that's pretty much what's going on there. With Venus, this could bring some really intense situations romantically. And so you might have had this experience throughout the year, right? Where you've had these really intense, really passionate, really intimate connections with people. And it's almost as if like you feel obsessed and you really want to get in there. You really want to connect. It doesn't have to be romantic. You're craving deep intimacy right now. You're craving somebody who can give you something more, something beyond the physical, something beyond the normal sort of experience and relationship. And there's something that's blocking you. There's a blockage on a very literal, like physical level, or there's maybe a mental blockage. There's something there that's preventing you from going all in. And that's for a reason, because if you were to go all in, you could get lost in these connections with people and you could get led astray. And so this is kind of an energy where it's like, it almost hurts that you want it so badly, but you're not quite getting it. You're not quite getting it. And that's going to become much more intense and much more extreme. And there might be a physical component too, when we have Mars right now squaring all of this. And so you're going to feel very passionately in your relationships. You might have some very volatile connections with people over the next few months, but just know this is building towards something, and this is helping you to understand something when it comes to what you truly need, want, and desire in relationships. So that way, moving forward, you can connect with that energy more fully and more completely. So look at this as a learning experience. Like, you're not able to have what you want because you're still trying to hone in on exactly what that is, like on a physical and a non-physical psycho-emotional level. And then when we come into Mars, if you have your Mars in one of the cardinal signs, this is going to be a particularly volatile energy, right? Because Mars is involved in all of this. We have two malefics involved and Pluto. So you're going to be feeling explosive. Like, your temper is going to be maybe a little bit more intense than it normally is. If you're a Libra Mars person, then your energy is going to be really low over these next few months. Anytime you have the Mars-Mars opposition, your energy is depleted. You don't have the physical energy. It feels like you have so much that you have to do and that you want to do and that you want to push forward with, and you don't have the physical energy to do all of it. That's going to be the same thing for all of the cardinal signs with Mars because we have Saturn involved. And so, yes, you're motivated, but you have to think long term, and you can't do it all at once because physically the energy isn't there. The motivation might not be there. Even though you feel like you want to do these things, it's like you can't quite get yourself to like go and do it. That could definitely be a part of it too. But for Libra Mars people, it's going to be way more pronounced because you're going to have that Mars opposition. With Aries, it's going to be less pronounced, and you're going to feel fired up and ready to go. And it's going to be like, why can't I make this happen, right? Why can't I make this happen? I'm saying that as a Mars and Aries native. So I know how you feel and how you're going to feel these next few months. I'm right there with you. But this is an energy where you might run into actual disagreements, separations from certain situations and people in your life over these next few months. And it might not look pretty, but it's going to bring you what you need in order to free yourself from all of the excess. This is really about honing in on what you desire on a deep core level in a certain area of your life, and making sure that you're setting a foundation for that for the long term, and you're not rushing and just plunging into it. You have to restrain yourself in a certain sense. You have to be self-aware and responsible in a lot of ways with your energy and with what it is that you're starting and creating. Don't create a whole bunch of things and start a bunch of things all at once right now. It's not going to work. Pick one thing, maybe two things if you're like really, really self-disciplined and devoted, maybe two things, and focus on those things for those Mars cardinal signs people. If you're focusing on too many things, you're going to burn yourself out. It's going to be overwhelming, and this is all going to collapse in on you. So figure out what you really desire and what you want to hone in on over these next 6 months, and hone in on that thing. And so that's my little spiel about the inner planets in the cardinal signs. I know that's not what I normally do in these forecasts, but I want to give you guys different information every time because, like I said before, this is going to keep coming up over and over and over again. And I don't want to just keep saying the same things over and over and over again. I want to give you layers and nuance. And so that's what we're going to be kind of diving into this week. So before we get into the forecast for all 12 signs, I do have a couple of quick announcements. My first announcement is that my house Rulerships course is going to be released and available to you all on August 19th. You can register now at a discounted rate. You can pre-register now at a discounted rate. And I'm super excited for this course. I've been wanting to do this for like almost over a year now. I've just been waiting for the time and waiting to make time. And so now it's finally happening. It's a 4-week course. It's very comprehensive. This is for people who already have a basic understanding of astrology, but want to go deeper, who want to make accurate, really detailed interpretations of their own charts, the charts of their friends and family or clients. And for those who just want to navigate their experience in a deeper way and to make better, more accurate predictions, especially about actual objective, real, tangible events, because that's part of what this is going to help create the foundation for. So the link for that is down in the description below. Super excited about that. And also my fall electional astrology guide is now available. You can access it immediately as soon as you register, and you can register down in the link in the description below. And this is a comprehensive guide for September, October, and November that walks you through the best and worst days, astrologically speaking, to initiate and create and do the things that you want to do this fall, because we all got to do stuff. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be dicey, but we still have to do things, right? And so this is going to help you to be successful and to hone in on those very specific times over the next few months where you can really harness the most positive energies so you can be successful, and so you can mitigate some of those challenges that could come up with a lot of the energy we're going to be talking about this week that'll keep going on. So again, that is down in the link in the description below. Okay, and as I mentioned before, we have a couple of really big events that we're going to be discussing and focusing on for this weekly forecast, especially Mars square Pluto, which is happening here on Thursday, August 13th. But we also have Uranus stationing in the sign of Taurus at 10 degrees, 42 minutes, and that is happening on Saturday, August 15th. So that's going to be running into like next weekend and the energy then, so about a week from today. as this is being posted. Mercury is going to be squaring Uranus too around the time that it's stationing, but it won't be exact anymore by that time because Mercury moves really quickly. So, there could be some really flight of ideas, anxiety, really brilliant flashes of insight and inspiration that come in at the start of this week. Uranus is going to be quite strong. So those are the 2 points. So Thursday's a big day, but really the whole week you're going to be feeling that for months, but especially this week. And Saturday is the other big sort of manifestation point. The other thing that's happening too, that's actually a little nice, is that Mars is going to come in on Sunday and make a trine to the sun. And so that's going to amp up our motivations and our ambitions and our drive. And so, yeah, Mars is doing some things that are a little, dicey, but that's actually a really good mitigating influence. And so this weekend, it's almost like you can channel this intense energy into something much more positive. And so let's get into the forecast for all 12 signs, beginning with, beginning with Aries, of course, and Aries rising. So for Aries and Aries rising, let me rearrange a little here. I'm going to get a bigger desk one day. My whole office is going to be a desk while I'm waiting to renovate and all of that. But anyway, so for Aries and Aries rising, so for you guys, this is probably a very intense energy. So let's start with the Mars square and what you can do with this in a constructive way, because Mars is in your sign and Aries is already a very impulsive sign. You love freedom, you love excitement, you love new things. Definitely Aries is one of the most independent, if not the most independent sign in the zodiac. And so you want to do things in your own way when you want to do them. And right now, there's something that you really want to transform and work on a personal level, on an interpersonal level. There could be issues in relationships or conflicts coming up in relationships right now. But there's especially this energy of really wanting to transform and push forward with something involving your career and your public reputation, and Saturn saying wait. And so it's going to feel especially intense. There could be power struggles in the workplace. There could be some volatile energy. You could be hyper-focused or obsessing over a workplace scenario or something that you really want to strive for or achieve in your career. And that's absolutely okay. But just know that whatever it is that you're obsessing over, whatever it is that you're super focused on because you desire it so incredibly and so deeply, it's not going to happen all at once. So exercising a certain level of restraint and just knowing that you need to set up really solid foundations. And it could be that you thought you set up the foundations for this. You thought that you already did this work in the area of career and public reputation, but it's just not panning out the way that you want it to, or you realize you have to do more. You have to do more. So this is a time to just be courageous, right? To start just realizing that you do have a lot of potential for growth in your career. You can achieve your goals and ambitions. It is a very good time to focus on those things, but just know that it's just not going to happen all at once, right? Take responsibility for that, and take responsibility for the fact that you haven't put in all the work that you need to put in just yet. And that's okay. You'll get there, right? And you will have that independence, that freedom. You will have what it is that you desire in your career, so long as you're putting in the sustained effort every single day. This isn't a short-term Aries type of energy where it's like you just get started and it's exciting and then it's done. Like, you have to continue to maintain that excitement and maintain that motivation. So when you lose sight of that and when you no longer feel motivated to achieve whatever your goals and ambitions are out in the world, and that doesn't have to be career, it could be what kind of legacy do you want to leave if you're not working, or it could be that there's a situation that involves a person in a position of authority where there is a power struggle and you want it to go a certain way and it's just not going that way, and that's okay. But look at what it is that you want and look at how you can take small steps every single day to accomplish those goals. And when you lose sight of that excitement and that desire and that intense drive and focus because it feels impossible or you're getting bored or stagnant, you have to do something new. You have to change something. You have to reignite those passions, because otherwise this is going to fizzle out and it's going to turn into nothing. So it's about keeping that excitement going, incorporating something new. Look at it in the framework of incorporating something new every single day that will build up and create your long-term goals and plans with your career, if that makes sense. So whatever it is you're trying to do, try to frame it in a way where it's like, yeah, I'm still pushing on the same thing, but each day I'm doing something new and exciting to create what I want to create. All right. Oh, I gotta go back to Aries. And then that Uranus station, there could be a major change, a major inspiration, a major opportunity, a really big surprise that comes to you in the area of money, finance. And so it could be on all sorts of ends of the spectrum. Whatever you don't expect to happen financially, whatever change you don't expect, that's what will probably happen for you coming into this weekend. And so just be prepared, be prepared. Don't go off and spend crazy money this week unless you absolutely have to. And that's the surprise that comes up for you, because something might come up. And you just have to be kind of prepared for the fact that you're probably not going to be prepared for whatever it is that comes up. You're not going to know what change is coming about. So there's an area of frustration in your finances that's going to be liberated, but it's going to come about in a very weird way. All right, so for Taurus and for Taurus rising. So for you guys, there's an energy here, and this is actually a lot nicer for Taurus than for a lot of the other signs as I've mentioned before, but you have Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in your 9th house. This is you really exploring what you believe and what is the truth, right? This is your search for the truth when it comes to your search for meaning, your search for your concept of reality, your philosophy on life, your religious beliefs, right? What do you believe, and how does that frame your reality, and how does that fit in with the way that you navigate the world and navigate this reality? There could be some sort of pressure coming in this week where you feel like you have to just jump in and join this religious group or organization, where you have to do this educational program or pursuit, or maybe you want to travel and you're like, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Take your time and think it through if those things do come up, and just make sure that you're thinking for the long term and not just your short-term gains. And so the best way to navigate this energy, I would say, is to explore, right? Explore, especially on that mental plane. And don't just fixate on one, because this could be you super fixated and, I hate to say it, but kind of self-righteous about your belief system and the way that you perceive reality, and you're going to want to be right. And so if something like that does come up in a conflict in conversation, or, just kind of in general, just know that you're not always right. None of us are. And, take your time with it. Don't push too hard, and just know, be humble about it. That's what I would have to say about that. And just know that for you to fully grasp and understand what's going on right now, and for you to fully embrace the right spiritual path, or the right belief system, or the right philosophical viewpoint, or the right educational program or plan, it's going to take some time. And whatever it is that you're pushing and trying to create right now in those areas, it's not fully formed yet. So this isn't the time to just jump all in and force it to happen. Take a step back, make sure you're thinking it through, formulate a plan, and yes, you should focus on it, but do so in small bits and pieces every single day to achieve those long-term goals. And if you are thinking about travel, be very careful in your travels, obviously, and just think about the long-term implications of that, or whether or not that makes sense on a sort of level of self-responsibility for you right now. For Uranus, and this is probably a big part of it too, Uranus is stationing in your sign. You want to go out and just do something, change something, rebel against your current circumstances. There's frustration that's been building when it comes to the way that you've been navigating your world, the way that you've been living your life, the way that you've been projecting your energy. You don't want to show up in that same way anymore. You're like, I'm done being this person. I'm done taking this path. I'm done with this. I want to change. I want to do something different. I want to do something exciting. This is a restless energy and an opportunity to change the way that you've been feeling like you want to, this caged up energy. You're going to break free from that, and you're going to have some sort of surprise that comes up for you this week. And if you're not embracing it, if you're not making active changes to your experience in the way that you want to, then change is going to come from the outside. It's going to be more disruptive. It's going to be less pleasant, but it's still going to bring you that liberation. So the end result of this is liberation. You're looking for liberation. You don't want to do the same old stale, stagnant thing anymore. You don't want to be the same old stale, stagnant person anymore. You want to be someone new, and an opportunity to embrace something that's going to be very different and very outside of the norm in your experience is very likely to come up for you this week. So, and it could be disruptive. It's not going to be comfortable. Taurus likes comfort. This is very uncomfortable, but it'll be exactly what you need. All right. And then for Gemini and for Gemini rising. So for you guys, Mars is squaring this stellium in Capricorn in the 8th house. And this is the house of power struggles, control issues. This is the house of psychological issues. This is obsessions and compulsions already. And, you know, Pluto being highly activated here is an obsessive energy. There's something that you could be obsessing over when it comes to your need to control something. You could be trying to control your environment from a place of fear and anxiety based on your previous experiences and traumas. And so look at that, right? Look at where that's coming from. This is a very like anxious sort of obsessive sort of volatile energy where it's like something is coming up and you want to just attack it. You want to change it. You want to stop it in its tracks, or you want to make it happen right now. And it's not necessarily going to be this one-time thing, this like, you know, quick turnaround. It's going to take some time. There could also be some sort of stress or some sort of anxiety or something that you're really focused on and obsessing over financially right now. And if that is the case, you're going to want to do something. You want to make an investment. Maybe you want to take out a loan. Maybe you want to do something involving a partnership in finances. There's something that you're wanting to do involving joint finances, debt, taxes, other people's money, inheritance, investment, something along those lines where you want to make it happen right now. And if you push too hard and if you obsess over it too much and you don't allow the correct amount of time, if you don't allow things to unfold in their own time and you're trying to control it too tightly, this is going to cause a lot of problems for you financially. So what I want to say about this is to use this constructively. Know what you want. Focus on what you want. Make a plan and a strategy, but make that strategy work for you in the long term. This isn't something where you attack it right now and it's done. This is something that's going to take time. If you attack it right now, you're going to have some challenges. You're going to have some roadblocks, and it's going to make it take 10 times more time, 10 times longer, and it's going to be much more challenging for you. So just know that it's going to happen in its own time. The Uranus energy is happening in your 12th house. This is kind of like subconscious rebellion. Sometimes this can be like really weird past life experiences coming back into the forefront of your consciousness in ways that are very unusual or feel very strange. This could be an energy where you kind of feel like an alien, or you feel like weird in your own skin and you're not quite sure where that's coming from, or you feel like you want to rebel or change something, but like you can't quite put your finger on where that's coming from or what you need to change. And this is especially an energy where people have really weird dreams, weird messages in their dreams, disrupted sleep. Like your sleep might be very disrupted this week. Just know that that'll simmer down a little bit after Uranus stations on Saturday, but you might be up all night because you'll have these bursts of insight, weird dreams, weird ideas, just all of a sudden a lot of energy in the middle of the night, and that's just going to be a part of this experience. All right, for Cancer and for Cancer rising, Mars is squaring Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in your 7th house of relationships. There's something that you've been really actively working on transforming and changing in your relationships, so that way you can create the intimacy, the loyalty, the trust that you need, want, and desire on a personal and interpersonal level in your most important relationships. And that includes marriage partnership, but that also includes close friendships, that includes business partnerships, that includes any close interaction that you have with somebody who you really trust and care about. You want to deepen that trust. You want to deepen those bonds. You want to deepen that intimacy. And you're wanting it this week especially, but in general, the next 6 months, it's like you want instant results. You want that person to just trust you immediately. You want to be able to trust that person immediately. You want that intimacy to form instantaneously, because that's just, you want what you want when you want it in relationships right now. It's like, you've been working so hard. Why can't it just happen now? Why can't I just find that perfect partner? Why can't my partner just be perfect for me? Why can't we just grow in this and create this intimacy together? Why is this transformation that I'm working on in my business partnership, where we are, investing in this project and working on it together, why can't we see eye to eye right now? Why do we have to debate? Why do we have to negotiate, right? So it's not going to happen right this second. This is something that's going to take time. You're going to have to build trust. You're going to have to build intimacy. You're going to have to build that connection. You're going to have to go back and forth and negotiate. You're going to have to compromise, and you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to take your time. If you approach this and attack it from a very from it's like a tactic, right? Like, I'm just going to jump in, I'm going to do it, I'm going to make it happen. That's not going to work, right? Your partner is going to be like, no, wait, I'm not there yet, that type of thing. So take your time, right? Strategize, work with your partner, talk it out. This is a period where you could end up in a separation. You could end up in a big argument or dispute. Mars separates things, and Saturn brings challenges and delays. If you're not able to cope with the delays, you might split. So you want to make sure that you are patient. Patience is so key in relationships for Cancer risings in particular. The other thing that's going on that's actually beneficial, and especially if you're a Cancer rising, and not that other one's not beneficial, that's beneficial. It's just, you're going to feel frustrated. But Cancer rising signs, I would say anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees, you're going to be feeling this the most, and in a more positive way. Uranus is going to be stationing in your 11th house. It's going to be sextiling your ascendant. It's going to be trining your descendant. And you might have some surprising new connections that come in through friendships, or surprising changes in your partnership and relationship that free up some energy and that cause you to feel a newfound sense of excitement. It reinvigorates the energy in the relationship. But you might meet a new friend, you might make a new connection, especially on a group level or at sort of a group activity or something like that. And that connection might change your life. So that's something to pay attention to, especially into the weekend. All right, for Leo and for Leo rising. All right, so for you guys, Mars is in Aries, which is nice for Leos because this is going to be trining your ascendant, sun or moon. And so that's actually going to be helpful to you. You're going to be feeling much more motivated, much more ambitious, much more driven. You're going to have more energy than you normally do to put forth into whatever it is that you want to create based on your own self-interest. The challenge here is that there's something that you've been working really hard on when it comes to your day-to-day routines, your health, your work, your relationship with your coworkers, maybe even your office or workspace is being renovated or something like that. There's something going on in that area that's been very challenging. You've been trying to restructure your daily life and your daily routines to align it with what you truly need, want, and desire. You might have thought that you got there even when Saturn left Capricorn for a couple of months until July. And now it's kind of, you're starting to, the frustration's building again. It's like, I thought I fixed this. I thought I changed this. I thought I transformed this, and I just don't want to do it again. Like, I want it to happen now. I want it to be done. If that is the case, just know that you're going to have to take your time. It's not going to happen all at once. If you're having an interpersonal issue at work or with your coworkers, you're going to feel like your belief system, what you view this as, is right. And you're going to feel very self-righteous about it. It doesn't mean that you're right. And even if you are, it doesn't mean that you need to prove that you're right, because that's going to cause more issues. And those issues, if you do something and approach it in this sort of attacking way, those issues are going to keep coming and come back around for several months. You want to make sure that you're being very deliberate and very slow and going through the proper channels and talking to the proper people and not trying to resolve this in a fast, quick fix sort of way. You will get what you desire. You will have the work that you desire. You will have the day-to-day work routines that you desire. You will have the support that you need in your workspace, but it's going to take time. It's not going to be an easy one-time process. Same thing with your health. You're like, I was working so hard. I did the psycho-emotional work. I did the physical work, and my body was just thriving. And now it's come back, right? I'm dealing with this again. Why am I dealing with this again? You're going to have to, again, take this strategic, deliberate, slow approach. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be challenging, but that's the way to get there. If you try to just do a quick fix all at once, that's not going to work. That's going to cause issues in the long term. So you want to be very careful with what it is that you're doing with your body and your health habits as well. And just make small changes, small new changes every single day to get to your long-term goals with your health. Not just like, I'm going to change my whole diet, my whole exercise routine, my whole supplement regimen, everything all at once. That's going to shock your body, first off. But, it's not sustainable. You got to make small, sustainable changes. And that's what's going to be going on for Leo. For Virgo and for Virgo rising. So for you guys, and I got to go back to Leo. I'm sorry. So Leos, you have Uranus in the sign of Taurus, which is in your 10th house. The 10th house is the house of career and public reputation. You could have a surprise opportunity or a surprise change or something that disrupts your career path very intensely this week. Even if it feels disruptive and uncomfortable, the end result is going to be positive because it's going to bring liberation and more freedom and more sovereignty and more independence in your work and in your career. And so just know, and it could even be that there's a disruption to your legacy and what it is that you're putting out there and the way people are going to perceive you long after you're gone. And even if that seems negative or seems disruptive in a uncomfortable way right now, the end result is going to be positive. You could be putting out something that's just ahead of its time, and people are responding in a way that you didn't expect. But a couple years down the line, they're going to be like, wow, Leo, you were a genius. So just keep that in mind. All right, for Virgo and for Virgo rising. So for you guys, this energy with Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn is actually happening in your 5th house. I've mentioned this many, many times this year, but this is impacting you more positively than a lot of the other signs. That does not mean that you won't have challenges right now because Mars is in the mix and Mars is making things more challenging. And so there could be something that you really want to push forward with involving your hobbies, your interests, your passions, the things that you want to create. It could be a performance even. Like maybe you want to put yourself on stage. Maybe you want to perform. Maybe you want to create. Maybe you want to make videos. And you're rushing into it. It's like, I want to do this right now. Why can't it happen right now? There's something that you've been honing in on and you've been perfecting and you've been really obsessing over when it comes to your passions. And it could even be, a romantic interest that you've been obsessing over and wanting to move forward with and maybe wanting to take it to the next level. But it's just not happening in the time frame that you want. And so you have to be patient. You have to wait. If you push it, there's going to be power struggles. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be arguments. There's going to be some control issues that come up, and you don't necessarily want that. There could be something financial going on too, with joint finances, debt, taxes, a loan, other people's money, that type of thing. That is it's like you need this money in order to do the thing that you want to do or to create. Maybe you're trying to get funding for some sort of creative project. Or maybe you're trying to get funding for like your child's education or for something for your children, right? Because this is the 5th house of children. And it's like you want it right now. It's like, I need this right now. I'm ready to go. And it's not going to come in the exact way you want it to or exactly when you want it to. Maybe small bits and pieces will come in, but this is something that's going to have to build over time. So just know that attacking it head on is maybe not the best approach. Focus on it, grow it, build it. create what you need to create, but it's not necessarily the time to push it out there, and it's not necessarily the time where all the funding will come in or to spend the money on it even. So just make that known. And then for Uranus is also hitting you in a nice way. Virgos are having a good time here. Taurus is having, a decent time as well, in terms of the entire zodiac this week. And so, especially if you're a Virgo sun, moon, and rising, anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees, Uranus stationing is going to bring a surprising change. It's going to bring a change of direction. It's going to liberate you. It's going to bring something exciting news, an exciting opportunity, an exciting educational opportunity, an exciting insight that really changes something for you in a very positive and profound way. This could be an opportunity for travel or for some sort of something related to travel. It doesn't necessarily have to be travel, or an opportunity that comes through connection with somebody in a foreign country. All right. And for Libra rising. So for you guys, this energy here with Mars squaring the stellium in Capricorn, this is going to be a little bit more challenging, as it will be for all of the cardinal signs. However, this is something that you can absolutely work through, overcome, and utilize in a way that's constructive rather than destructive. And so this is a time where you could absolutely destroy your relationships. You could have conflict in the home. You could destroy your home. I don't know, like something like that, or destroy the equilibrium in your home at least. But you don't have to do that, right? You can use this energy in a very positive way. And so Mars in the 7th house is going to bring up arguments, disputes, disagreements, fights, in relationships, or there could be the need to separate yourself from a certain contract, agreement, or relationship in order to create what you want to create when it comes to your home, your family, your property, your place of living. What's going on behind the scenes, right? There could be something that you've been working to transform. Maybe you've been working to transform your home and just have a better setup for the long haul after everything that's been happening. And you thought that you had everything set up nicely. Maybe you were working on a renovation or something like that, and all of a sudden some issue comes up. And it's like, it demands your attention right now, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be solved right now. And so there's this energy of like tension and frustration and like wanting to hurry up, wanting to get it done, but you might have to change contractors. You might have to renegotiate something, in order to get what you want. You might have to sever a contract or an agreement in order to get there. Just know that if you do that now, it might come back around and kind of bite you when Mars goes retrograde, but it might be something in the future that's necessary for you. Just know that if you do feel the need to prove your right and to, work with this Mars energy with your family in particular, like maybe there's a disagreement or some sort of frustration or a blockage in your family dynamic. And it's like, I want to argue my point. I want to prove I'm right. I would hold back on that. It's kind of not a Libra thing anyway, so you are receptive to other people's points of view. Use that Libra receptivity and listen to them, understand their point before you move forward, because that's going to cause a lot of frustration like in the future, because this is like several months this is going to keep coming back around. If there is a renovation project or something that you're changing in your home and you want it to happen right now and you rush into it, there will be complications. So just know that this is going to be something that you need to approach deliberately, intentionally, strategically with a very good plan. And you're going to have to make adjustments to that plan and also take your time with it. So don't just go all crazy with it. Oh, and Libra, Uranus in the 8th house, you might have a surprising opportunity involving an investment or other people's money or some like loan that you're able to get, or a grant or money that comes in from an outside source. It could also be that there's something that comes back around unexpectedly, or something that you have to deal with unexpectedly in those areas that feels really disruptive. But once you deal with that and once you make the changes you need to make, you will feel liberated financially. All right, Scorpio and Scorpio rising. So for you guys, Mars being your traditional ruling planet here, this is going to be a little bit stronger, it's going to be a stronger energy for you. So Mars is in the 6th house, which is the house of health, daily routines. You might have something that you need to address that involves your health or daily routines. You could have some intense energy on a day-to-day level, especially when it comes to communication or travel plans or vehicles. There could be something that you've been working on that you've been really focused on, that you really desire when it comes to travel, when it comes to your community, when it comes to maybe a specific vehicle or something like that you've been wanting, where you've been wanting to create something or transform something in that area, and you thought you finally had it, and then you realize it's not there. You get some bad news, or you get some sort of issue that comes up very unexpectedly and very quickly, and it's like, oh, now I have to wait again, or now I have to go back and fix that thing that I thought that I had fixed with my car or with my vehicle, and it can be a little bit of a headache. If it is something with travel plans, it could be that, you made all these travel plans and now the world is what it is right now, and so you're not necessarily able to move forward with those plans in the way that you had originally intended, and that could be really frustrating, and that could be very disruptive to your day-to-day routines or what it is that you were planning to do. Just know that you'll eventually get there and you'll eventually get to do these things, but it's not going to happen right now. It's not going to happen all at once. You have to strategize, make a plan, focus in on it, and eventually you'll get there if you go through the proper channels, and if you sort of build a case, and if you do it the right way. There could be some weird communication. There are ideas that you have that you might be wanting to communicate that are not quite fully formed or not quite ready, or maybe other people aren't ready for. And there could also be conflicts, arguments, or disputes in the workplace, especially involving communication. And just know, if there are arguments or disputes or issues that come up with your work or with your coworkers, just know that these things might take time to resolve, and that's okay. And if there's something that you want to put out there involving writing or an educational pursuit, don't rush it, right? Take your time, strategize, do it the right way, and make sure that you are really thinking things through. All right. Oh, and then Uranus, of course. Uranus is in your 7th house. So there could be a change that happens in your partnership. It could be a change with your partner that liberates your partner. There could be a change that liberates you and your partner, and you decide that you're going to do something new and really exciting together in partnership. This is going to be especially strong for ascendant, Scorpio ascendant signs, anywhere between 5 and 15 degrees, especially at 10 or 11 degrees. This is going to be a big energy where something really crazy is going to happen. Something surprising and shocking is going to happen that's going to change the dynamic in your relationship, and it's going to liberate you, and it's going to cause you, it's going to reignite passions or reinvigorate the relationship in some way where it's exciting again. If you're not in partnership, this could be a surprise relationship. It's like somebody comes in all of a sudden, it's like, what the heck is going on here? It could come about in a very shocking and unexpected way, and you might be kind of taken aback by it, or it could be very disruptive to your sense of self or to your trajectory in life. And if that does happen, this is going to be a very freeing, liberating, exciting relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean it'll stick, but it's going to shake things up for you. It could stick, though. It could. And so, this is a week, and especially a weekend where, and it doesn't have to be romantic partnerships, but where relationships in general can come in unexpectedly. And it's like, how did I connect with this person? That's crazy, right? Or connections with people you wouldn't normally connect with. That's another big thing. It's like you wouldn't expect yourself to connect with this person, but you're connecting really well, and they're completely outside of your normal social circle. All right, for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, this Capricorn stellium is happening in your 2nd house of finances. There could be something that comes up for you. So it's kind of like you've been working really hard to restructure your financial situation, to pay off debts, to free yourself and liberate yourself from oppressive energies on a financial level, and making some very big changes to your material possessions and to your the things that you own, right? Material types of dealings. And so It could be that you thought that you had everything figured out, you had it all sorted out, you were set for the future, you had a good foundation, and all of a sudden something comes in and either restricts your finances or prevents you from moving forward with your financial goals or a major purchase maybe that you want to make, or from moving forward with something that's going to liberate you from your current financial situation. It could also be an energy that's a little frustrated around wanting to buy something that's really fun for you. So it's kind of like, hey, I want to play, I want to use my resources for something I feel passionate about and I feel really excited about. But you can't quite get there. You have to save a little bit more or work a little bit harder or make some additional changes to your budget and to your savings and to the way that you handle your money in order to get there. That Uranus energy could bring an unexpected change or disruption in your day-to-day work routines and habits. Or in your health, right? You could all of a sudden, have some sort of health issue that comes up, and the necessary route to addressing that causes you to understand something or awaken to something really important when it comes to your health or your diet or your daily routines. And so that could actually be a blessing in disguise if that does happen. This could also be you unexpectedly getting the answers or finding the solution to a long-withstanding health problem that you haven't been able to tackle or pin down or figure out the right answer to. It comes to you in a very weird way, or it's something weird that you have to do that feels very unusual and outside of your comfort zone in order to get healthy. And this could be an energy where you have to stand up for yourself or rebel in your workplace. And even if you don't necessarily want to be that person or play that role, circumstances could kind of make you that person. So you might be disruptive in the workplace, or there might be disruptions in the workplace that change your daily schedule, habits, or routines. All right, for Capricorn and for Capricorn rising. So for you guys, Mars is in your 10th house, your 4th house, which is the house of home and family and property and your place of living. There could be a dispute or an argument or something going on in your home environment that demands your immediate attention, that's causing some sort of friction or frustration on a personal level. It could be that you really want to push forward with something and you want to do something, and you thought that you had your ducks in a row. You thought that you really figured out who you are and what you want and what you truly desire and created a foundation for you to move forward with that path. And something comes up, and you're not able to do the things that you wanted to do. You're not able to show up in the way that you wanted to show up. You might have to compromise in some ways. You might have to delay some things. And, that disruption or that conflict could come from your family or from your home environment. So whatever it is that you truly and deeply desire for yourself, the way that you want to expand on your experience and identify and align yourself with your truth and your personal integrity, there's something that you really, really want to do. There's something that you want to be. There's something that you want to embrace in your experience. And you thought that you had gotten there. You thought that you had made that space. You thought that you had done the work, and you're not quite there yet. You're not quite ready to move into this new phase of your life, because this is really like a big cosmic reset for a lot of Capricorns, especially Capricorn sun, moon, or rising anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees. And maybe it's your family points something out or calls you out, and you feel called out and you feel like, I got to be on the defense. I got to fight this, right? Not necessarily the best response. So just make sure that you're responding and not reacting to any situations, especially involving your family or involving your home or your property, or even it could involve like your lease agreement or something like that. Just know that you can't fix it right away necessarily. It's going to take time. And even if you feel like you fixed it right away, it's going to come back around. So make sure that you're aiming for and focusing on long-term results. The other thing that's going on is that Uranus is transiting your 5th house, which is the house of children. It's the house of play. It's the house of hobbies, interests, things that you love to do because you love to do them. It's also the house of romance. You could have surprises coming up in all these areas, but they're going to be very positive, especially if you're a Capricorn rising anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees. This is going to be impacting you in a personal way, in an interrelational way that will be very positive. So you could have a new and exciting experience or an opportunity for romance that comes up really unexpectedly. This could be you having some sort of new exciting opportunity that comes up for your children, or you could have a very abrupt change in your relationship with your children that's disruptive, but exciting and positive. Maybe you decide to do something more liberating and more sovereign involving your children or child care. Maybe you decide to do like homeschooling, or you're going to completely change your trajectory so that way you can have more time to play and enjoy your experience with your children if you have any. This could also be a really exciting opportunity to embark on like a new hobby, a new interest, to align yourself with something that's really fun and brings you so much joy, and it just comes about in an unexpected way, or it's something you never thought that you would want to do or like to do, and you try it and you love it and you just run with it. All right, and for Aquarius and Aquarius rising. So for you guys, you have this energy, Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in your 12th house. That's the hidden house, right? It's the house where you go to be in solitude. It's the house of secrets. This, I've been saying a little bit for Aquarius, secrets that you've been holding on to might come out into the open. So if you're keeping something from somebody, it might come up. Somebody could be gossiping about you too, and that could be something that comes up and causes a lot of disruption, and pulls you out of your space of solitude and minding your own business. It could feel like you're minding your own business, but maybe you say something and then it gets blown out of proportion, and then you have to go out there and make a statement or say something or try to resolve the issue. Just know that it's not going to be resolved all at once, and it might take some time. This could be an energy where you want to go on a vacation, you want to take some time away, you want to go on some sort of spiritual retreat. This is a time where you're going to be very focused on introspection and very focused on your spiritual practices and your spiritual development. And you might have some things or some communications or maybe even travel or educational responsibilities that might not allow you to fully embrace that period of rest and reprieve. Like, you might just feel like you just want to hide right now, and you can't hide. You still have things that you need to do. And so, yeah, you can get there. Yes, you can still have those periods of growth and spiritual development and rest. But there's going to be some challenge there to making that happen on a consistent basis right now. This could also be something that you've been working on or working toward involving 12th house institutions. I know that there was someone who was like an Aquarius rising in the comment section last week or maybe it was somebody who had the Uranus energy. Somebody had something going on in their 12th house. I'm pretty sure it was an Aquarius rising, and they like started a new job at a prison. And that was going to be a big thing for the next 6 months. There's probably someone watching that right now. Hello. But it could be that something you're embarking on something new that's going to take you out of your normal day-to-day experience involving 12th house institutions, which includes prisons. It includes ashrams, monasteries, churches, temples, brothels, retreat centers, rehabilitation centers, hospitals. So there could be something there, and it's like you feel like you're going to be able to embrace this change, and it's going to be something that's happening all at once, and it might take some time, or it might be kind of volatile, and you might have to kind of go back and forth with that. The other thing that's going on, of course, is Uranus, which is in your 12th house, your 4th house, which is the house of home, family, and property. And so this could be a time where you want to make a change, and an opportunity comes up, and all of a sudden you're moving, or all of a sudden you're taking in a new family member, all of a sudden you're maybe pregnant. Maybe you're adopting a pet or bringing some sort of new energy into your home. Maybe all of a sudden you have an opportunity to renovate or change something, or you're forced to renovate or change something. And it happens kind of all of a sudden. If that does happen, even if it's disruptive to your comfort in the home or with your family dynamic, it's going to be a positive change that's going to feel very liberating, and it's going to help your home environment to feel much more free and much more exciting as we enter into the fall season, where I don't think people are going to be leaving their homes quite so much. All right, for Pisces and for Pisces rising. So for the energy of this Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn in Capricorn, this is actually kind of nice for Pisces. This is involving your friends, your social networks, people that you surround yourself with by choice. This is a time where you've been working on transforming your friendships. You've been working on finding the right people and aligning yourself with friends who are deeply loyal, deeply trustworthy, who you feel a deep connection with. You want deep intimacy. You don't want surface level friendships friendships right now. You want people who are sticking with you for the long term. And maybe you thought that you got rid of all the riffraff, you got rid of all the chaos, you got rid of anyone who's going to mistreat you or who's not going to necessarily appreciate you, who is not going to stand by your side. And you realize, maybe even this week, but it could be sometime in the next 6 months, there's some sort of situation or disagreement within your friend circle or your social circle, and you realize that you didn't quite separate from everyone you needed to separate from. If that is the case, just know that it's okay. You're letting these people go for a reason, and after all is said and done, you've created a lot of good space, a lot of positive space that can be filled by people who truly get you, who are truly your tribe, who truly will support you, who truly do have that intimate connection where you can have those deep conversations, and truly who will be with you for a very long time. This Saturn cycle right now is setting you up for the next 30 years when it comes to your friendship. Anyone you become friends with right now, these are like lifelong friends. So get rid of those who are not lifelong friends. Get rid of those who are not supportive. Get rid of those people that want to cause drama and arguments and disputes. And also, if there's somebody who is holding money over your head, or if there's disputes around finances involving groups, organizations, or your friends, don't react and don't necessarily attack the person if you can help it or avoid it, because that's going to cause some long-term conflict, and that's going to be disruptive in ways that you might not even see right now. That's going to impact you for the next 6 months. So you want to make sure that you're approaching things tactfully and that you're thinking about the long-term consequences of your words and actions when it comes to material possessions and finances in groups of people or with friends. Don't loan money to friends right now. I've said that before. All right, the other thing going on too is that Uranus is transiting the third house. The third house is the house of short distance travel, community. You might have an opportunity that comes in unexpectedly to do something with a community organization or to connect with your neighbors. You might have a new neighbor and it might be disruptive and you might be like, what is going on here? What is this weird person doing? But then you might realize that this is actually an exciting thing and you might connect with them really well. This could be a really great time to communicate something unusual, or you might have a really unusual message come in, or a lot of messages coming in that disrupt your current mindset about something. You might have a certain belief that you feel is true, or a certain idea or information in your head that you believe to be true, and that might be completely shaken up. It's something that seemed really stable or really solid when it comes to your mindset and when it comes to your methods of thinking or your way of thinking about things, and all of a sudden new information comes in and it's like, whew, like, how did I not see that? Oh my goodness, I have to change everything. You could have weird emails, weird messages coming in, really weird on the weekend, especially in the weekend this week. This could be unexpected travel plans, especially for short distance travel close to home, or an unexpected opportunity to purchase a new vehicle or like a camper van or something like that, where it comes about all of a sudden. You weren't really necessarily thinking about doing this, but you realize you have to jump on this because this opportunity won't come back around again. This could be an opportunity to attend a webinar or a course, especially online, that you realize all of a sudden this came up and it wasn't something you thought about before, but you're like, yes, this sounds exciting. I have to do this. This opportunity is not going to come back around. I'm going to jump on it. And it could completely change your mindset and change your reality and change even your dynamics in your connections with people and the way that you show up in the world for the better. And it could be something that liberates your mind. So education, great, new, especially new, exciting, unusual things that you wouldn't necessarily normally study. Travel, great, especially short distance travel. Vehicles, great, all of those things. Unexpected situations that come up with siblings or extended family members also will bring improvements in those relationships in ways that are unusual or unexpected that you wouldn't necessarily think would come out of this. So just know whatever comes up in these areas, roll with the punches, and the end results, even if it's uncomfortable in the process, will most likely be positive and liberating for you. All right, so that is my forecast for all 12 signs. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with anybody who you feel might benefit from this information. We're in some very crazy times, and I know a lot of people are seeking answers, and I'm hoping to provide that for as many people as possible. So thank you guys so much again, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.